All right, this is it. My name's Jeff K., and you're listening to episode 442 of the world-famous West Virginia Surf Report podcast.
Hello, world.
A few days ago, my dad sent me a text, and it said something along the lines of, "Look what your mother started doing again." And there was a picture attached of my mother standing in the middle of the street down there in Florida in their 55 and over community. They live down there half the year, in West Virginia half the year. She's standing there in the middle of the street, and she's got a cig. She's got a cigarette in her hands, between her fingers, holding it up, getting ready to take a big drag off of it. And I was like, what the hell? What the hell is this? Like, immediately, I was like, what? Because they used to smoke. My mom and dad both used to smoke. And they smoked, mister. They smoked like they were entered. At least that's the way it felt like to me. They seemed like they smoked like they were entered into some kind of smoking contest. But everybody, back in the 70s, 80s, I don't know, into the 90s, I guess. I don't know when they quit. They quit decades ago. I'd say the 90s. I don't know for sure. I'll have to ask them. I don't even know if they'd know. They're not real good with the dates anymore. But they haven't smoked in years, decades. But they used to smoke all the time, and I, in fact, everybody smoked. I think everybody smoked in the 70s. Like, it seemed like every single adult, many kids. I remember, like, in school, like, the teachers would go out and smoke with the kids. They'd be out there, hey, can I bum one of those Winstons off of you? Like some 45-year-old man, talking to a 14-year-old boy or something. Yeah. You gotta take one of those Newports off you, or whatever, And there's like special smoking areas at schools. There's people walking around grocery stores smoking. People on airplanes. People in office buildings, just in their offices, walking down the halls. People in restaurants. People sitting in there, just like, they finish their meal. They just got this, like, look on their face, like, like they're exhausted. They just break out a cig and just start chugging it. Everybody's over there eating, trying to eat, and there's, like, just big billowing clouds of smoke. People are like butting out their cigarettes in the bent or in the spent carcass of the baked potato, just like grinding it in. It was a disgusting era. Everybody smoked in cars. I can remember being a kid, just sitting in there in the back seat of the car, just sitting inside of a rolling cloud of cigarette smoke, secondhand smoke. But anyway. They definitely participated in that, but they quit a long time ago. Now she's starting up again. I was like, I don't know, my heart kind of dropped. I was like, what is she losing her marbles? Why would she do this? Or did she just say, the hell with it? I'm 83. I'll do what I want. I don't know. If she took that approach, I'd be like, whatever. I'd feel a little bit better about it. But I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I was kind of like upset about it. My brother sent me a message. He goes, "Did you see this?" Because they sent it to him too. And I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "What the hell?" I said, "I don't know." But then it turns out they let us stew on it for a little while. And then it turns out it was just a big joke. So they thought that was hilarious. Or my mom. It was my mom. My mom's doings. She borrowed a cigarette off somebody. She didn't light it. She was just holding it. She said, "Take a picture of me. Make the kids think, make the boys think that I'm smoking again." this is a kind of comedy. It's coming out of Del Boca Vista down there in Florida. Whoo! Anyway, for about 15 minutes, I was like, "What the hell? Is she slipping? Is the inevitable slipping commenced? I don't know. Anyway, I was happy that was not that. That was just a big joke, a joke." And I throw up air quotes. Before I get to the main topic, I went and got did my spring cleaning in my car. That thing is filthy. It was filthy from a long winter of tromping through, salt and, all the snow and crap. The inside of my car is just a disaster. Like all the carpets, there's crap in there. Everything's all dusty. It's just not good. I don't leave trash in there, unlike most people. I walk by cars all the time, and I'm just curious. I just want to see what the inside of people's cars are. I'd say 89% of them. That's right, 89, precisely. 89% of them full of crap. There's just garbage everywhere. How do you live like that? I don't live. There's nothing in my car, but the carpet gets all messed up. There's dust. It's very dusty in there. How's it get dusty? Is that from dead skin? Is that what they say? Dust is dead skin. Am I just sitting in there just shedding all the time? But anyway, there's dust all over the dashboard, all over the, everything, all over the dash. And so anyway, I went over to the Tunnel of Love car wash, or whatever it's called. I think that's what it's called, Love, L-U-V. When I say I'm in love, you best believe I'm in love, L-U-V. Anyway, so I went over there, and I went through, you just put it in neutral. Thing drags you through there, and it just pounds your car with high-pressure water and other chemicals, various chemicals, water, this like rotating brushes. It's going to blast. It feels like it's going to blast the fenders off my car. I mean, it is high pressure. That thing's shooting up from underneath. Just great. I love that. Everything underneath needs to be sprayed off. Driving on this through this northeastern Pennsylvania during the winter, all that salt and all that stuff everywhere, that stuff needs to be blasted. So I go through the Tunnel of Love, come out the other side, sparkling car, and go around the corner, and then they got all these stations there where you can vacuum. They got various vacuums with different nozzles on them. They got my favorite, the compressed air. Ian loves when I talk about the car wash. This one's for you, Ian. The compressed air, that's the best. I go in there. Basically what I do is I take all the floor mats out, lay them aside, set them aside, and then just start blasting everything with that compressed air. Man, you go down between the seat and the console, that no man's land where I always drop my phone. And then it's like, I don't know what happened to it. It's gone. It's like you drop it down in there, it's just gone. I mean, it's like, what happened to that thing? I basically have to stop my car, park it, get in the back seat, lay on my side, So down in that no man's land, I hit that thing with the compressed air, and everything just goes airborne. There's like shredded lettuce flying out of there, French fries. There's like I don't know. There's this like jelly beans zipping out of there. There's shards of Pringles sailing. Everything just comes blasting out of there. And then you just do it like on the console and stuff. All the dust comes out of there. It's just flying around in there. You start sneezing. It's fantastic. I mean, it is so satisfying. It's like those videos on YouTube where those guys go in and clean up like a yard, but it's all sped up. You just watch it. It's a shithole yard. And they go in with their tools and they get that thing whipped into it looks beautiful, It's very satisfying. It's satisfying to go in a car that's been kind of neglected for a winter with that compressed air. Whoo, man. So then you get everything goes flying, either in the back seat or into the floor, and then you vacuum it up with those various hoses. You also wipe down, everything with the wet. They have wet towels. Oh, it's great. They have bottles of Windex. You can clean the windows. Well, it takes a while, but when I leave that place, my car looks like I just drove it straight out of the showroom. It looks brand new. So I took care of that on the weekend, and then on Monday I went and got an oil change because there was something on the dash saying I had 5% oil life, and I don't know how accurate is that. What is that based on? Is that based on miles? Probably. I drive a lot of miles. It feels like I'm putting oil in. I'm changing the oil all the time. It seems excessive, but I was on a roll. I went over there and I cleaned up my car. I went over to Sam's, filled the tank up, so I got a full tank of gas. The car's completely clean, and then I'm going to go get my oil change on Monday. I go over there and it's this place where you drive into this big room. You're inside the building, and it's not like a garage. You're inside of I don't even know how to describe it. You just drive in. There's tile on the floor. It's not like you're driving into like the garage where they work on it. And there's some old man that greets you. It's like these old retirees. And the guy's like, first thing he said was, your inspection's due at the end of the month? I'm like, no. Well, it's right there on the windshield. I mean, it's very accusatory. Extremely accusatory. It's right there on the windshield. I said, I don't look at that. Well, you oughta. I said, don't be putting that mojo on me. I was thinking to myself, I'm taking care of this car. I'm taking care of all this. I'm very excited doing this spring cleaning. Now he's got to put this in, like I'm gonna have something hanging over my head that still needs to be done on top of all this. These old men with their deadlines and their expiration dates. Just just leave it alone. Leave me alone, pops. I don't need that. Very, very annoyed. But I said, no, I don't. I'll take care of it. Well, you need to. Okay, God, quit nagging me. Jeez. All right, so that annoyed me. So I went in there and I said, he goes, the guy at the counter goes, what can we do for you? I said, oil change. I need an oil change. He goes, you want tire rotation? I said, isn't that part of it? I've been there many times. I said, isn't that part of it? He goes, well, there's two different tiers. There's the standard, which is $85. He goes, you need a full synthetic. I said, $85 for an oil change. It used to be $18.99, I know I'm an old man. Like, I remember back in my, I don't know, but it didn't seem like that long ago. Now it's $85. He goes, that's just the oil change itself. I said, what the? I said, are you serious? He goes, yeah. I said, all right, what's the second tier? He goes, well, it's called the works. I said, what's that, what's that entail? He goes, well, you get a tire rotation, we top off all. I said, well, that's the one I want, but how much is that, $110? I said, what the? $110 for an oil change. Are you serious? He goes, that's what it cost. And I said, well, that's outrageous. I said, I don't even want to pay $85. I said, just do the $85 one then. God. He says, so what the hell? He goes, well, the synthetic oil is very expensive. And the light comes on, or the notification on my dash, it feels like it comes on every couple months. And it costs me $8,500 a pop. He goes, you sure? I said, yes, I'm not paying $110. God. $85, I feel like I'm getting bent over a couch. I didn't tell him that, but that's the way, I feel like I'm being taken advantage of. All right. He goes, all right. Clearly didn't, He had some kind of problem with that. But if you want to ask me a question, you expect an answer. Might not be the one you're wanting. So I went in the waiting room. They have this nice. It's like the lobby of a hotel. It's like real nice. And they got all this free snacks and I say free. You're charging $110 for an oil change. I think you can spring for a 25-cent sack of pretzels. All right, and they have like a soda machine, like a fountain drinks and coffee makers and stuff. None of it costs anything extra. So I poured myself an iced tea, one of those raspberry iced teas. Sat down on one of the chairs. And it's like, all right. I guess I'm going to be sitting right here until watching this stupid-ass View or whatever the hell's on until he get this shit done. He acted like it was going to be a while. He goes, it might take a while. We might have to order a part. Might have to order a filter. I said, whatever. Just we need to get it done, so whatever it takes. God. It costs $85. It's going to take all day. But the guy immediately came out. He goes, I got hey, I just want to let you know, I've got a coupon. I can give you the works for $89. I'm like, that's I was like, it would, if I'd have gone for the 110, if I'd have said, yeah, let's do the works, the 110, I guarantee you there would have been no mention of a coupon, right? I'm like, I said, you didn't know that before? Or, he goes, well, I just remembered. It's okay. I said, yeah, okay, definitely do that then. It's like $4 more or something. So anyway, so I don't know if they're hoping you'll just say, yeah, I'll pay $110 for that service that costs $89. But I said no. So then he came out and said, well, maybe I can get an extra $4 out of him. So anyway, so they did it. It didn't take very long, and whatever. So, but then I got that bad mojo hanging over me. Now I got to worry about the inspection. He did tell me that the brakes are good, the tires are good. He goes, the car's in good shape. I don't see anything. If we were doing an inspection, I don't see anything that would be a problem. So that's good to hear. He goes, you want to do the inspection? I said, no, stop. Oh, I forgot. He also told me that he said, I recommend a battery cleaning, a battery cleaning service. I said, what the hell's that? He goes, well, we clean your there's corrosion. There's some corrosion on the battery. And we get it all cleaned up. We install some inhibitors, some felt inhibitors. I said, how much? He goes, $45. I said, are you serious? To wipe stuff off the top of my battery? I said, no, let's just do the oil change, which is, I think I've already said that. Let's just do the oil change, and I'll be on my way. He goes, okay, but you might get stranded somewhere. I said, don't try that. Don't start that with me. You're going to scare me into buying some $45 service where you take a rag and wipe my battery down. What the hell? You ever heard of such a thing? A $45 battery cleaning service. A battery cleaning service. I said, no. This place is pretty good, but I don't. All this stuff where they try to upsell you stuff irritates me. And they try to scare you too. You might get stranded somewhere out in the middle of nowhere. You might get. There's rapists out there. They come out of the woods. A lot of them lurking. Rapists. If you don't do this $45, that's what you're looking at. So okay. But anyway, I tried to take care of business. Now I got this thing hanging over my head. This old man. These guys with their expiration dates and their deadlines. I don't know. I know you. I was right there on your windshield. I don't know how you could. I said, I don't walk around and look at stickers. I got a life to lead. Sheesh. Anyway, as I record this, it's opening day, the most glorious day of the year. opening day of baseball season. I took today, which is Thursday, and Friday, tomorrow, off. Every year I take at least Thursday off. First game's always on Thursday. I don't know why. And then they schedule the next day off. That's so that if there's weather on Thursday, they can play it on Friday. They don't want anybody to lose their opening day, because that's a big party everywhere, especially Cincinnati. Cincinnati is the traditional opening day. They're the oldest team. The Reds always start their season at home. They used to be the first game. Like the first pitch of every season was the Reds. But that's all out the window. Now they have these series in foreign countries and stuff. Like this year they had the stupid Cubs and the even stupider Dodgers playing in Tokyo. Like that was like a week ago. And they count. It's not exhibition games. These frickin' count. So, opening day. It's the traditional opening day. And the only thing the Reds get out of it now, where they used to be the first pitch, is they always get to start at home. So that's good. At least that part. So anyway, it's a big party in Cincinnati. They have like a parade. The schools are closed. It's literally a holiday. Huge. Hundreds of thousands of people turn out. There's pictures of it on the internet. I'll see if I can find one. I'll also post that picture of my mom standing out there smoking a cigarette. I'll put those on the website. But anyway, that's today. That's today at 4:00. In fact, it's 2 hours from now. A little over 2 hours from now. The Reds and the Giants. Oh my God, love it. So I took 2 days of PTO. I mean, that's what they're for, right? That's what they're for. I should have used floating holidays. Those are out there in case there's a religious holiday. I mean, you could use them whatever you want, but they originally were designed for like religious holidays that might not be covered by the like if you have a religious holiday that's not, the only religious holiday they cover really is Christmas. They don't even cover Easter. But if there is something you want off, they give you 3 floating holidays on top of your regular time off. So that's what I should have used. I should have used that. Because it's a religious holiday for me. Opening day. Anyway, that starts today. I'm super excited. I'm all a tingle. You know what I'm saying? Cincinnati Reds baseball. I'll give you a little bit of some highlights. I think I went to my first game in 1972. I was 9 years old. My parents took us. I think they were playing the Braves. I'm not 100% sure. I think they were playing the Braves. And I remember I don't remember too much about the game. In fact, I don't remember hardly anything about the game. I do remember walking in the Riverfront Stadium, the Reds' old stadium, which is one of those old, round, multi-purpose stadiums where the football team played there, the baseball team plays there, they have concerts in there, they have tractor pulls. Oh, it's all artificial turf. It's not a blade of grass. But anyway, I remember walking through the tunnel and out into the open stadium and just seeing that field down there and the green turf down there. It's like I was vibrating with excitement. I mean, it was just like, oh my God, this is like the greatest thing I've ever seen. I remember that, and I have another heartwarming memory. I remember after the game, we're at the hotel, and we're sitting around, whatever, watching TV or whatever, I don't know. And my dad, I had a score book that I bought at the stadium. Like a book that you can keep score. It's full of ads, and it's got some like a couple of little articles in there. And I just bought it as a souvenir. He takes the thing, tears a big section of the cover off, folds it over a couple times, and starts digging something out of his teeth. Starts digging something out of his teeth with it. He's like picking his teeth. He just takes my scorebook, just rips 1/3 of the cover off and starts picking his teeth with it. I was like, what the heck? What goes on here? He goes, what? I said, that's my scorebook. He goes, the game's over. What do you want that for? I guess he viewed it as after the game's over, it goes in the trash. I still have it. It's down in the basement somewhere. And the whole thing's just ripped off. The whole cover, the whole corner of the cover's ripped off because he was digging that Khan's hot dog out of his teeth or whatever from the game or something. So those are my two precious memories of that day. I feel like they were playing the Braves. So I got to see Hank Aaron play, I think, probably. Like I probably got to see, the Hammer, Hank Aaron, Henry Aaron. And what I remember, I don't remember that though. What I remember is my dad picking his teeth with a piece of the cover of my scorebook. Let's see, what else I have on my list? I wrote some memories down. I went to the 1976 World Series. Game 2, the 1976 World Series, Big Red Machine, Reds versus Yankees. The Reds swept the playoffs and swept the World Series. It was the first Sunday night baseball game in World Series history. It was freezing cold, so cold, shockingly, breathtakingly cold, and it was something else. You can watch it on TV, on YouTube, and they're commenting on how impossibly cold it is. And but that's the only World Series game I've ever gone to. Game 2 of the 1976 World Series. I was 13. I was 13. So that was fun. I couldn't believe that. I couldn't believe my parents. My parents, they took care of us, man. We went to a bunch of Reds games. They took us to Kings Island, which is an amusement park in Cincinnati, near Cincinnati. We went to a whole bunch of games, and we went. They were great. They knew that we loved these games, and they took us every year. We went at least to one game, often more than one. And it was a blast. One time, Steve, and my brother, and my dad went to Cincinnati. I don't know why my mother wasn't involved in it. It was a very strange trip because I think we were on a bus. Did we go on a bus? That's what it was. I think we took a bus trip. I'll have to talk to Steve about that. I think it was a bus trip because we stayed at some fancy old hotel in downtown Cincinnati. We never did that. The K's didn't operate in that way. We were more of a days in, out on the outskirts of town, like in a neighboring town. That's the way we rolled. But this was like we stayed inside Cincinnati, like downtown Cincinnati, in some old historic hotel, right? Seems very bizarre to me. So it was me, Steve, my brother, and my dad. And me and Steve, I was talking about how I never smoked. I never smoked a cigarette in my life. When I was talking about cigarettes before, I have never smoked a cigarette in my life. I feel like I might be one of the few people that was alive in the 70s and 80s and never smoked a cigarette in his life. However, we did dabble with cigars. On this trip, but it was something, just a novelty thing. We were just messing around, right? So on this trip where we were staying at this fancy hotel, Steve and I were like smoking cigars. Smoking cigars in our room. These they're probably like White Owls or something, Tiparillos or something. No, they're big fat cigars like Winston Churchill, And we thought this was hilarious. We thought we were getting away. We thought we were doing something, man. We were pushing the envelope, right? So we were up in our room smoking cigars. We were just messing around. I remember I walked down to the ice machine that was like 13. How old was I? I don't know, like 14, 15, somewhere in that neighborhood. 14 probably. And I walked down to the ice machine, and had a holding one of these Winston Churchill cigars, and like walking by like families and stuff. It's like a 14-year-old boy with a giant cigar, top of the morning to you, or something. Anyway, we thought we were, I don't know. We thought we were pushing the envelope. So anyway, me and Steve had our own room. My brother and my dad had another room. That's how we were getting away with it. And we were supposed to meet in the lobby one day, and we were late because we were smoking cigars. Once again, it's like every time we had an opportunity, we'd fire up a white owl or whatever. And so we were late. They were down there in the lobby waiting on us. And while they were waiting, Sparky Anderson, who was the legendary Hall of Famer manager of the Reds, he was the manager of the Reds at the time, comes strolling through. And my dad's like, "Hey, what do you say, Spark?" That's how he greeted him. "Hey, what do you say, Spark?" He goes, "Hey." He ended up talking to him for a little bit. He signed an autograph on the back of my dad's pay stub that he had. We have that. Me or my brother have that somewhere. And we missed the whole thing because we're up there swigging cigs or cigars, swigging down cigars, laughing hysterically like we're getting away with something. Ridiculous. So stupid. And then one time me and my friend Billy went there. This is later. This is after I moved to North Carolina. I had it in my head that I was always going to go to a Reds game, at least one Reds game every year, my entire life, right? So I'd moved to Greensboro, and I called Billy. I said, let's do a Reds trip. So we did, and we went. It was a weekend of a ridiculous debauchery, outrageousness, outlandish behavior. We stayed at this Holodome, which is where we stayed when we were seniors in high school, and we went to a Reds game on that trip too. But the Holodome is, I don't know if you know what these are. They're Holiday Inns, but they were round. In the center, and the rooms are all around the perimeter, and the inside is open, but there's a roof over it, right? So there's just an open space in the middle. And they had like swimming pools, miniature golf, a whole bunch of tables set up so you can sit out there. People are out there drinking. It's like a big party place. Then we went there when we were seniors in high school and stayed there. On that trip, we went to Kings Island. They had senior night. So the place was closed except for seniors, high school seniors, from all around the area. And that was totally ridiculous. They were taking people out of there on gurneys. People are passing out. Everybody's stoned and drunk and stuff. Wasn't my favorite. I mean, I like to have fun, but there's a little seediness to this thing. So anyway, but so then we went back to after the Kings Island, we went back to the Holodome, and we stayed up all night. I mean, I didn't sleep at all, and most people didn't. People snuck liquor in shampoo bottles. They said they were going to search all our luggage and stuff, make sure you. So people were like, they had bottles of shampoo. Shampoo that had shampoo in it, except it was now liquor. So we're all sitting around like in somebody's room and like, pass me that bottle of Pert. I want to take another hit off that. Yeah. You got any of that? What you got in this Brex? How's this? Brex. Is that a shampoo? I think it is. Yeah. We're all just like passing around bottles of shampoo, taking big hits off of them. And it turned into some ridiculously. We're up all night, never went to bed. And then we went to a Reds game the next day, and I was like, barely. I was having some kind of out of body experience. I can barely remember. I had some kind of gentleman's bet with my friend Tim about who would get more total bases, Johnny Bench or George Foster. I was a Bench guy. He's a George Foster guy. And the JB came through, of course. He always comes through. He sent me, Tim sent me a YouTube link not too long ago of that game. Like, he figured out the date and found it, like the whole game, the TV broadcast of it. I'll see if I can dig that up. I'll put that in the notes too. But anyway, that was fun. So, but most of it was just the family. You know, we went over there a lot, and there was this gift shop called the 580 Gift and News. I loved going in there. It was all red stuff. They had all kinds of game-used bats and balls. This is in the 70s, so this is before it became a big business. You could get game-used balls. It has it would tell you what game it was, the score. It has like a certificate of authenticity. It costs like $5. Thing was, I got a bunch of them. I got bats that I bought there, and they sold T-shirts and all, hats and stuff. It was just a gift shop, but it was cool, and it was like a cut above, and that was like 2 blocks away from the stadium. We used to hoof it over there. Loved it. I mean, my parents took care of us, and they were good. I won life's lottery when I got my parents. I really did. There's no room for complaining there. Oh, and one more baseball Reds memory. Johnny Bench, my favorite player, when he retired, he was getting ready to retire. This is 1983. He was getting ready to call it a career. They had a night for him near the end of the 83 season. Johnny Bench night. They presented him the place was packed. I mean, it was sold out. They presented him with all kinds of gifts. They gave him like a car, I think, all kinds of stuff. He walked out on they had some big red carpet that stretched across the outfield. He walked out, and the place is just standing ovation for a long, long time. And everybody gave their speeches and stuff, and they gave him a bunch of gifts for his retirement and stuff. And then he played in that game. It was the last game he ever started as catcher, right? And I was there with my brother and my girlfriend Kelly at the time, and we were there, and it was a special night, Johnny Bench night. I remember there was this vendor. They had these. The vendors wore these badges, buttons on their shirts that said "I heart," I heart JB, and you couldn't buy them. They gave them to the staff or whatever. I said, "How much?" I told one of them. I said, "Did you take $5 for that badge or for that button or something?" He goes, "Hell yeah." So I gave the guy like $5, I think. Then he gave me one. It was like, things weren't even for sale. Anyway, we're at this game, and we're watching it. Bench batted. I didn't want to miss any of it, but I don't want to blame Kelly. But she wanted to get something from the concession stand, right on Johnny Bench night. And I'm like, all right, I guess. I don't really. Something's going to happen, Something's going to happen while we're in line to get your Sprite. You know what I'm saying? So we went, and we got in line, I don't remember, to get whatever, and we're in line. I tried to time it so that I wouldn't miss his at-bats. I didn't want to miss any of his at-bats. But I knew there would probably be something happen in the field or something. So we're in line trying to buy whatever we're buying at the concession stand. And then the whole stadium, you could just hear the whole stadium erupt. I was like, what the heck just happened? What the hell just happened? You know what we missed while we're buying that Sprite? I don't know. I don't know what we're buying. But for some reason, Sprite comes to mind. You know what we were doing when we were buying that Sprite? That's right, Johnny Bench, my favorite player of all time, hit his last home run of his career on Johnny Bench night, an historic occurrence. And I was in line buying a stupid ass plate of nachos and a Sprite. I missed it. And I don't want to blame anybody, but whew. Anyway, so there you go. And so today is the beginning of another season of Cincinnati Reds baseball. I couldn't be more excited. I'm all a tingle, as I think I said before. And if I didn't, I was thinking it. And so I got one little thing I want to play. I want to play this. I don't know if I play this every year on opening day, but I should. This is from the old days of the website. This was my buddy Brad, who I worked with at Peaches Records in Greensboro. He was a longtime employee of the Greensboro News and Record, I think. Is that what it's called? The newspaper there. He was a copy editor. His telephone number there at the News and Record was like one digit off from the sports department. So he used to get phone calls that were supposed to go to the sports department all the time. One day he comes in there and there's a voicemail, and it's from some old codger, all wound up about some kind of baseball thing. And he sent it to me back in those days, right after it happened, and I put it on my website, and the thing turned into like kind of a phenomenon. I mean, the thing became, it definitely went viral, as they say. It became like, a big time hit, big time internet hit. And I wanted to play that for you, and that's right here.
I'll take your paper, and the only damn reason I take it is for the sports. The baseball season has just started. I get my paper today. It's no damn box scores, and a damn write-up. I need a damn magnifying glass to read the goddamn thing. Are you people so damn tight that you can't put the box scores in the damn sports section and write the damn what goes on in it in big enough letters where some son of a bitch can read it? God damn.
Could there be a better? That thing's perfect. I take your paper. I've heard that thing 150 times, maybe more. I've listened to it so many times, and I laugh every single time. It's hilarious. That's legit. That's real. That's an old guy pissed off because they're too tight to run the box scores, and they need to print the numbers big enough so some son of a bitch can read them. These are legitimate complaints, I think. But anyway, that's fantastic. We're way long on this thing. I do have one call, and it's from our old pal Jason. Let's get right to it right here.
Hey, Jeff, it's Jason in Austin, Texas. Hope you're doing well. I'm having trouble at the workplace myself. As I think I've said many times before, we have people coming all the time, basically schmoozing us because they want us to use them for painting or landscaping or something, whatever, and fine. And they'll come drop off food usually, or sometimes they'll cater food and then want to have a presentation. So this Barbie doll approached me on behalf of some roofers and said, hey, on Friday, I'd like to come by and just like pass out cards. I don't want to do a whole thing. What do you think? And I said, okay, we'll bring something easy, and back and forth. And finally she decided, hot dogs. I'll bring hot dogs, 100 of them. And she did. There's a Wiener Schnitzel not far away, so she ordered all these tailgate package hot dog things and shows up with them all kinds of bowls of condiments and crap. It's a whole spread. It's a buffet of hot dogs. And I came in a little late, and the Barbie's handing out her card, talking to everybody. About 10 or 15 people have plates. They've gotten themselves a couple of hot dogs. So I'm in the back talking with the maintenance guy, and he said, I'm going to go get a hot dog. He goes to get one, and they're gone. 40 to 60, we think, something like that, hot dogs are just gone. And as it turns out, Marcy had dropped them into a paper sack and was squirting mustard on top of them the way some people do fries and ketchup, like just an absolute pig. And the maintenance guy caught her, and he's had enough of her shit anyway, because Marcy stole a pot roast from him and his wife one party. Like, she took the entire inner bowl out of their crock pot and just put it in her van and took it to her little school shooting twins. And so anyway, I think Marcy's on her last leg, unfortunately. It really pissed a lot of people off, but she waddled away from the crime scene. That was Friday. She's not here today. Hopefully, I don't know. I don't like the woman. So, hope you guys have a good week. Thanks. Bye.
Jason, you have a very, your life is nonstop. You lead a full life. I love Marcy. She's my favorite. She's my favorite character. Fat ass Marcy, as you called her. Not in this one, but previously. It's not me. I don't know Marcy, but that's how he's previously referred to her. So she wrecked the hot dog buffet. I can tell you one thing right now. The sounds of a hot dog buffet, I love that. That sounds right up my alley. I love a hot dog buffet. We've had those at work as well. And, I'm just in heaven, Talk about it being all a tingle. Anyway, so she like just took them all and just and just threw them in a sack and put mustard all over them. And then she previously stole a pot roast off somebody. What, she just like throw that in her purse or something? Sounds like she's running wide open. Hope you said she's treading on thin ice. Hope she's not. I hope she sticks around just for selfish reasons. I love the Marcy stories. Boy, oh boy, you lead a full life, Jason. I appreciate it. Thanks for sharing it with us. I appreciate it. Give me a call anytime. I know what you're talking about as far as people taking advantage of free food. At my jobs, I've seen this happen many times. There was I can remember down in Atlanta, they brought in pizzas, brought in stacks of pizzas for the employees, And these people were taking two whole pies, running out the side door, putting them in the trunk of their cars. They were acting like wild animals. They were taking a full pizza, sticking it sideways in their locker, that thing's going to be all settled down and folded over in the bottom of that thing. You can't put a pizza sideways, They're just taking off running with them. Free pizza! They're running out and putting it in their car. That's not what it's for. You're supposed to take a couple slices. It's not everybody gets their own 2 pies. That shit was ridiculous. I was watching these people were oh my God. So I've seen that. Also, years ago at my current job, they had a whole bunch of different what do you call those things? Cupcakes, a whole bunch of cupcakes, a whole table full of cupcakes for some kind. I don't know, for something. They bring in food all the time where I work. It's pretty kick ass, as far as that goes. And this woman who was notorious for theft. She had a history of theft. I was not a fan. But she used to go in there's this room in there called the quiet room for somebody that's having some kind of trouble. She used to have she's like, I'm having a panic attack or something. Oh, woe is me. She goes, I'm going to have to go to the panic, or I'm going to have to go to the quiet room. So she'd go in there and she'd steal anything that wasn't tied down. She'd empty the first aid kit, take all the Band-Aids out of there. She'd just plunder the place. And then, so one day they had these cupcakes, and she took 24 cupcakes and stuck them in her car. I think that finally, she got fired for that. But I've seen this. I know what you're talking about. That doesn't surprise me at all. I don't know about the pot roast. That seems a little over the top, and I don't know why she was just taking mustard and just pouring it on like you do with French fries and ketchup. That seems a little over the top. But I hope Marcy hangs on. I hope she doesn't go the way of the cupcake lady, my place, because I like just being selfishly. I hope she makes it. Thanks for calling, Jason. I appreciate it. And we're at the end of this thing. Thank you guys for listening. If you want 2 episodes every week instead of a measly 1, I don't know why you'd want to settle for 1 when there's 2 available. Got it all set up for you. Head on over to Patreon. That's Patreon, patreon.com/Jeff K. Sign up for a $4 or more monthly donation, and you'll get an extra episode every week. Every time I publish one to the main network, like this one, a few days later, there's another one. It's for patrons only. $4 will do it. You get every bonus episode as they become available, and you get access to all the previous ones. There's over 200 in there. $4. What the heck? It's a rich vein of insanity and nonsense and stupidity. Who would not want to tap into that? Patreon.com/Jeff K. And if you want to call in like Jason, that's easy to do as well. We make it easy for you over here. The number, 570-290-8151. Just give me a call round the clock, leave a message, and I'll almost certainly use it in a future episode. So if you have any questions, or if you have any comments, or if you have any suggestions, give me a call, 570-290-8151. And surfreportpod.com is the podcast home on the internet. So check that out as well, surfreportpod.com. I'll eventually have that picture of my mother and other odds and ends, stuff I talked about here. So check that out as well. So we're at the end of this thing. Thank you guys for listening. Until next time, which will be over on the Patreon side, hope you guys have yourselves a fine day. I'll see you.